I withdrew the deposit on my mother's assisted living apartment the same afternoon she told the admissions coordinator I was the child who couldn't be bothered. So some context. My mom is 74, and for the past 2 years, I've been the one managing basically everything. She has 3 kids, me, my brother Dennis, and my sister Carla. Dennis lives 40 minutes away and visits maybe 5 times a year. Carla is in Phoenix and calls on birthdays. I live 11 minutes from my mom's house. I think you can see where this is going. When her doctor said she needed more support than she could get living alone, it was me who researched places. It was me who drove her to 4 different tours and sat through all the presentations and took notes on meal options and medication management and what the staffing ratios were like at night. It was me who got her on the waiting list at Meadow Creek, which had a 14-month wait, and called every 3 weeks so they'd remember our name. It was me who filled out the intake paperwork, 47 pages, because my mom's handwriting makes her hands cramp now and she kept getting frustrated and handing it back. Carla sent a flower arrangement when mom got off the waiting list. Dennis texted a thumbs up emoji. The deposit was $4,200, non-refundable after 30 days. Mom didn't have it liquid, so I covered it and she was going to pay me back from the sale of her house. That was the plan. I wasn't even stressed about it. I wanted her somewhere safe. That's all I cared about. The admissions coordinator, a woman named Patrice, called me 2 days before move-in to go over final logistics. We talked probably 6 times over the course of the whole process. She was warm, efficient, I liked her. She was going through the checklist and then she got a little quiet and said something like, "I just want to say you've been so on top of everything. We don't always see this level of involvement." I said thank you. I just wanted to make sure my mom was taken care of. And Patrice said, "She's lucky." She mentioned she has 3 children, and I have to be honest, when she first came in with your brother and sister last week, I wasn't sure how involved you were going to be. I stopped. I said, "I'm sorry, when she came in with who?" Turns out my mom had scheduled a separate visit. I didn't know about it. She brought Dennis and Carla, who flew in from Phoenix apparently, which I also did not know, and given them the full tour. Patrice didn't realize this was news to me. She kept going, trying to fill the silence, and that's when she said my mom had described me to her as the child who couldn't be bothered. I asked her to say that again. She did. My mother told the admissions coordinator at the facility I was paying to place her in that I was the child who couldn't be bothered. I got off the phone and I sat in my car in the parking lot of my office for probably 10 minutes. I wasn't even that upset yet. I was just trying to figure out if I'd misunderstood something. I called my mom. She picked up on the second ring, cheerful, asked if I was calling about the move-in time. I said, "When did you tour Meadow Creek with Dennis and Carla?" A pause. She said, "Oh, a few weeks ago. They wanted to see it." I asked why she hadn't told me. She said she didn't think it was a big deal. They just wanted to feel included. I said, "Mom, what did you tell Patrice about me?" Another pause, longer. She said, "I don't know what you mean." I said I'd just spoken to Patrice and I knew, so she could just tell me. She got a little defensive then, said she might have mentioned that she wished I had more time for her, that I was always busy, that it had been hard for her that her other kids came to visit without being asked. I said Dennis visits 5 times a year. Carla visited twice in 2 years. I am there every week. I did every single thing to get you into this place. And you told the coordinator I was the one who couldn't be bothered. She said I was being sensitive, that she was just making conversation, that Patrice had asked about her family and she was answering honestly. I said okay, and I hung up. I drove back to my office. I looked up the deposit agreement. Within the first 30 days, a written withdrawal request submitted before 5 p.m. would result in a full refund, minus a $150 processing fee. It was 2:40 p.m. I submitted the request at 2:58 p.m. Dennis called me that evening, furious, said I was punishing mom for saying one thing she probably didn't even mean, said I was being vindictive and that someone needed to be the adult here. I told him if he felt that strongly about it, the deposit was $4,200 and Patrice could have the paperwork resubmitted by end of week. He went quiet. Carla texted me that I was destroying the family over my ego. My mom called twice. I let it go to voicemail. She's still on the waiting list. Dennis is handling it now.